Spring football is just a few weeks away. Talking Clemson and sizing up each position. We got Jason Priester here from allclemsontigers.com to help us break it all down. Jason, how you doing today?
I am doing very well, man. How about yourself?
I am doing fine. And we're sizing up. Let's start with the quarterbacks. We got Cade Klubnik coming back through 19 touchdowns, 9 picks last year. And I got to think that there's anticipation that being in a second year in Garrett Riley's offense could be a springboard for him to be a better player.
Absolutely. You need him to be better. Make no mistake. You need to see more of what you saw late in that Kentucky game, as compared to what you saw over the first half of the season and some of the other. He had some turnover issues, fumbling issues, and stuff through the season. But I thought I thought it was a slow burn. But I thought we did see some growth out of him throughout the season. But you need him to take a big jump this year if Clemson wants to get back, to where they want to be in the college football landscape. If they want to compete for a spot in the playoff, it starts and stops with the quarterback play, and they absolutely got nowhere close to the level of quarterback play you need to be competitive at the highest level. Still think Klubnik's got all the tools. Do you think he's going to have more weapons around him this year, particularly at wide receiver with some of the freshmen, a couple of those freshmen coming in? And I think with Matt Luke being brought in as a new offensive line coach, the protection should be better. And I think all those things together will allow him to take that big jump that everyone is expecting from him.
We will certainly touch on the offensive line later, but do you think in addition to more weapons that the offensive line is going to be at a place where he can have more room to operate?
Yeah, that's what I would expect. Matt Luke's one of the best in the business. I thought that was a home run hire from Dabo Sweeney. And I've maintained for years that Clemson's issues along the offensive line weren't really talent related, man. You've got more talent in there than you've ever really had under Dabo Sweeney. It seems like you have more with each passing year. It just has not translated to the field of play. And now that you've got Matt Luke in here, you hope that's what happens. And you hope that helps Klubnik take that next step in his development. I thought he could be better at scanning the field, reading defenses, not locking on the receivers, typical stuff you see from young quarterbacks. We tend to forget at times every guy comes along at his own pace. Not everybody's ready to rock and roll day one, and some guys need a couple of years, and it looks like Klubnik falls into that latter department. For me, the biggest thing when it comes to the quarterbacks is the depth. It's really just Klubnik and Vizina. They're really the only two quarterbacks on scholarship. Paul Tyson's still going to be around, but he's going to kind of translate over to transition over to a coaching role. He'd be like an emergency type guy. You got Trent Pierman, who walked on, won multiple Player of the Year awards here in South Carolina there at Daniel. He's a really good player, but still you've got two scholarship quarterbacks and one who redshirted last year and Vizina, who most of us thought was going to need a year or two. That's to me, that's going to be one of the bigger storylines when they kick off spring practice here next week. Is where is Vizina at and his development? Can he be at the level that he needs to be in order to, realistically push Klubnik? Not necessarily for the starting job, but pushing. I think Klubnik could really benefit from having somebody that can really push him in practice throughout the spring, throughout fall. Competition makes everyone better. Don't expect him to push for the starting job. Let me be clear about that. But, just from a competition standpoint, can Vizina take that jump and be good enough to push Klubnik to be better?
And you also want that guy that's going to be a reliable backup, because you've got a good enough team that if you need a 2 or 3 game bridge to get somebody healthy, to get Klubnik back from a neck or a bruise or something like that, that you can do that. And whether you can rely on Vizina to be that guy, or if he still needs to be the third guy and you need to bring in a veteran guy or have that veteran guy that's more of a stabilizer to manage the game, and still have Vizina back in the third spot.
Yeah, Dabo Sweeney kind of addressed that after the season. He kind of shut that down about looking to the portal for a veteran guy. Things could always change once they get to the spring, and maybe if they decide he's not quite as far along as they were expecting. I mean, you can always revisit that, but I do think where he is from a developmental standpoint, it's going to be something to follow in the spring, because again, you're paper thin there, and you're always just one injury away from having to go to that, or one play away from having to go to that guy. And for the past couple of years, Clemson's had the benefit of having Hunter Helms, there, a guy that's been around for a little while, not very experienced, but he had been in the program for a while, and you knew what you were getting out of him. If you needed a guy to go in and, fill in for a game or two, you felt pretty comfortable with him probably. And now it's going to be the unknown. You're not really sure what you're going to get with Vizina, because we've not seen it yet.
Folks, please like the video and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. And, of course, track Jason's work. If you love Clemson athletics, it's not just football, but he covers the baseball team, the basketball team there at allclemsontigers.com. Jason, appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.